The Islanders played a strong first and third period, got some great goaltending from Semyon Varlamov. That was enough to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-2. We have our key takeaways from the game, plus previews of this weekend's game against local rivals, the Rangers and the Devils. All that and more coming up on the weekend edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, and thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. We've got a lot to talk about on today's show, but first, if you've got something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. I'll provide instant insight and analysis, and it's always great to interact with fans during the games and really anytime. So feel free to reach out on Twitter and talk some Islanders hockey. Nice game for the Islanders overall. First period was dominant. Third period, the Islanders were very good. Second period, not so much. They kind of stood around and were being outskated and beaten to every 50-50 puck and didn't play very well. But in the first period, Islanders outshoot Columbus 15-4 and really 14-5, excuse me, and really did a great job. Out of those 5 shots, only one of those shots on goal came from those high danger areas that we talk about so much, the area in from the faceoff circle down to the crease. Islanders defense doing a great job of clogging up the neutral zone in that first period, keeping Columbus on the perimeter when they did get into the zone, and then really did a nice job of counterattacking and creating scoring chances throughout this game. So the first period, it was 2-0, but it could have been even better for the Islanders. And 2 goals, just 11 seconds apart. Aho showing what he can do. You know, I've been critical of Aho times, mostly time and space. Pocket, he showed nice move, skated in on Elvis Lincolns, and then Wahlstrom just 11 seconds later made it 2-0, and just a pretty Islanders in the third after a slow first couple of minutes, and Kyle Murray ends up with the game-winning goal just 3 minutes and 16 seconds in, and then midway through, strong game, scores on a partial breakaway, and that clinches it. Really doing his thing. When Mathew Barzal is on, he is skating with the puck and keeping it away from the opposition and creating scoring opportunity things. And that's what he was doing last night. Whereas when he'll circle with the puck and skate with the puck and it doesn't go anywhere. And either he loses control or over and often get an odd man. They didn't have that in this game. As for Semyon Varlamov, you know, he had a strong overall with goaltending in the National Hockey League, 8 save percentage. You do that, you're going to win most of your games. But how you make them and when you make them, as far as the momentum of the game is concerned. And Varley came up with one big save on Patrick Lane in the third period with the Islanders clinging to, I believe at the time it was a 1-goal lead. Second period, Columbus was putting on some pressure, and it easily could have been well. You look at the lineup. No player on the Islanders had more on goal. You had Wahlstrom, Pelech, and Pulak, each with 4. But out of all of the 18 shot on goal in this, Matt Martin, Casey Cizikas, and Zdeno Chara. And you know what? If I was picking 3 players not to have a shot on goal in this game, those would be as good a 3 as any. Balanced offense. They did go to the net more often. They created plays, and you just had to be pleased the way this team played. Are now even with Columbus in the standings, but because the Islanders have games in the Metropolitan Division, 18 points out of 4 in a playoff spot, they're not going to be able to bridge that gap in 16 games. It's encouraging that after the 0-8-3 slump that this team in November and December when COVID hit them so and now they have climbed past New Jersey, Philadelphia, and now that the Islanders probably have been back in the playoffs again that and it will not by the Isles, but playing better now. You got to just sit back and enjoy the ride. We call Robin Salo Bridgeport on an emergency basis on Thursday afternoon. Salo did not game. Grant Hutton played again, and Sebastian Aho was up. So Salo here, but not any other Islanders player in this game. But he's in overall performance by the Islanders, and you've got to be pleased with the way they handled themselves most of this game, and it was enough to earn the win. We've got a lot more to discuss on this episode of the Islanders podcast, and the both games tell you the keys to victory in both, and a member of the Islanders Stanley Cup winning teams who is often overlooked. He is our Islanders birthday of the day, so all that still to come and more on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. It's all about convenience with HelloFresh. Not only do the ingredients come pre-portioned, so you're not overbusting food, but it's easier than ever to get filling meals on the table in a snap with options like family-friendly or quick and easy recipes. And you could pick your favorites from 50 different weekly options and skip weeks when you need to, change your delivery, or update your preferences all on the HelloFresh app. I have tried it. It's so convenient. You just open your door and it's there. The food is fresh. You don't waste food, and it tastes absolutely great. Healthy, fresh food, quick to cook. You just absolutely got to love it. Go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use code LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's promo code HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use promo code LOCK16 for up to 60 meals and gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Also brought to your friends at Built Bar. I'll tell you, have you tried the Built Bar Puffs? If not, Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar. They're a treat, and like all Built Bars, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan. Incredible flavors like yummy cinnamon churro, coconut. My favorite, the banana cream pie. They're so going to be your new favorite. And like all Built Bars, they're low calorie, high protein, low in sugar, and low in net carbs. Most Built Bars can just 130 calories, only 4 grams, 4 net carbs, but they pack 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which has around 240 calories. They taste to figure out how to make it healthy, and I don't know how, but they pull it off every time. Go to Built.com, use promo LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. 2 games coming up this weekend. The Islanders, the New York Rangers, and then Sunday afternoon, late in the afternoon, the Islanders facing the New Jersey Devils. Rangers in the thick of things. In division, they are have 90 points in 68 games. I'm only 3 points behind Carolina in the race for first. They are coming off a 5-4 overtime win over the Detroit Red Wings. They have 4 games in a row, the last 3 of them by 1 goal. This game at Madison Square Garden, 7 o'clock start on. And look, we know how dangerous Chris Kreider, 46 goals on the season. He is so dangerous, especially on the power play. 24 of those 46 goals coming when the Rangers have the man advantage. We know about Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad and a playmaker like Adam Fox. You have a former Islander in Ryan Strome, who is very good at passing the puck. And you have Igor, the better goalies in the league. Don't know if Ilya is available to continue the Shesterkin versus Sorokin rivalry, but that keys to winning for the Islanders against the Rangers. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's talk about the line comp for the New York Rangers right now. And Frank Vatrant line. Andrew Kopp is the second line center with Artemi Panarin to his left, Bunt to his right. Philip Cheadle centers Alex Lafreniere and Barclay Goodrow on the third line, and then Johnny Brodzinski centers the fourth line. Tyler Mott and side of him. Those are pretty good forward lines right there, and it provides Rangers with, and they added some depth, at the deadline, and that certainly helped them there. On D. Miller and Jacob Trouba, the second pair, Patrick Nemeth and Braden Schneider are now the third pair, and then the goalies are power play ranked second in 27.1% success. The Islanders have to at least break even on special teams and cannot allow at most 1 power play goal to this dangerous Rangers team. And then the Rangers have so much speed. Players like Panarin and Fox, so good, and Zibanejad at moving quickly with puck and defense on their heels. Islanders can't give them room in the neutral zone to skate. And then the other thing is, if you get Shesterkin, and I think we will see Shesterkin in goal for the Rangers, test him early and often. And the Islanders, it's a character for them, but they cannot need to shoot the puck. That would be a big step toward a victory on Friday. And it is always sweeter to beat. There be no doubt about that. And Sunday, the New Jersey Devils, a team that is eliminated from close, unlike that game in Boston. There is still a lot of young talent, Devils team, and you can't take them for granted. Players like Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier, when he's healthy, Jack Hughes or Sharon Govich. There is talent on this team, but injuries and inconsistency have really slowed down the Devils. We'll look at the line combinations. Jack Hughes centering Sharon Govich and Mercer top line. Nico Hischier centers Tatar and Jesper Bratt. That is the second trio. Jesper Bofist is on his right, and then Michael McLeod is the fourth liner. Jimmy Easy and Nathan Becker's side of him. In the lineup, return as far as the defensive pair with Jonas Third and on the at home Sunday day of rest. Problem 4 up. And keep the special teams, win that special team, players like Noah Dobson, players like Mathew Barzal, and players like Kyle Palmieri will have him moving the puck through the neutral zone against the inconsistent Devils defense. So you do those things and you stick to your defensive game plan, and the Hamilton create plays. And he can shoot from the point as well. You don't want to let him do that. Should be an interesting weekend because, look, let's face it, when you're playing the local rivals, it is always more fun, and we will see how the Islanders fare. You want to stay ahead of Columbus and keep even if they are only mathematical chances for the playoffs, you want to hold on to those chances as long as you can. When we return, an often forgotten player from the Islanders' 4 Stanley Cup winning teams is our Islanders' birthday today. We'll talk about that and some final thoughts about this weekend's matchups. All that still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at BetOnline. After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top teams for the Final Four and will determine this year's national champion this coming week. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. For all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it, they've got it at BetOnline.net. BetOnline remains the best spot for all sports developments, including this season. And it's not just a continued source for all your sports wagering information needs, including betting and your Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. For our day of the day. We're a day late with this one. I will freely admit that, but it's not going to stop us from wishing a very happy birthday, 60 Islanders defenseman Gordie Lane. Lane originally traded in the 9th round by the back in 1973, 6'1", 185 for a defenseman back then. The Brandon Toba native played for the Brandon Wheaton, made his NHL debut in 75 with the Capitals back when they were still sorting out their expansion situation. But early in the season, and Lane remained with the team from the 79 season all the way through 84. Played on all 4 of the Islanders Cup winning teams. 540 career NHL games, 19 points, 1,128 penalty minutes, including 152 for the Islanders in just 55 games in 79-80. He came over in that trade. Go back and look at Gordie Lane. Better with the Islanders. February 21st, 1981 at the Nassau Coliseum. Blackhawks are the opponent for Islanders. First, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Gordie Lane. His second from Wayne Harry Howard at 12:15. Islanders up by a score of 1-0. Wayne Merrick added to the lead. His 8th from Hector Marini and Gary Howard at 58 after 2 periods. Islanders up by a score of 2-0 on the Blackhawks. But the Blackhawks tied it with 2 goals in the first 6 minutes of the second period. The first one, Marpley, his 18th from Miles Zaharko and Reg Kerr. And then Keith Brown, his 5th from Reg Kerr at 5:51-2. But the Islanders answer back. Kenny Morrow, his 2nd career NHL goal. Wayne Merrick and Hector Marini with the assist at 9:02. And then period with Tim Higgins off for Chicago. Bob Bourne, his 25th from Jean Potvin and Von Pearson. Islanders up by a score of 4-2 at 40 minutes. In the third, the Isles continue to score. Clark Gillies from Bob Nystrom and Lorimer at 2:18, and 40 seconds later, Michael Dean Bossy, his 56th of the year. Our Islanders' birthday of the day, Gord Lane and Brian Trottier with the assists at 2:58. Islanders in command. Their late goal by Reg Kerr made it 6-3. Islanders double up the Blackhawks in this one. Chico Resch, 26 saves to earn the win. But for Gordie Lane, our Islanders' birthday of the day, 1 goal, 1 assist. He was a +1, had 3 shots, and picked up 2 penalty minutes as well. So steady defensively, not afraid. A solid player who is often forgotten when you talk about the Potvins and the Bossies and the Gillies and the Trottiers, but a good player and an important part of the Islanders' 4 Stanley Cup winning teams. He is our Islanders' birthday of the day. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Anytime you're playing the Rangers and the Devils in, 2 games in 3 days, I'm all in. And hopefully the Islanders can keep up the, there is inconsistency on this team. They're not playing at the same level they did a year ago, but if you cut it off from, let's say the end of December to the present, this Islander team is right in the thick of things. And that in and of itself is hopefully they can keep the momentum going and have a strong finish. Like I said, they're not going to make the playoffs, barring a miracle. Let's keep those chances alive as long as we can. Thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Hosts Steele Roden and Flip Livingstone help you become the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. That does it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy both Islander games this weekend. Enjoy the Final Four. And, of course, let's go Islanders.